Welcome to another episode of Creatives on the Couch. We're joined today with David J Ridley, actor.
Hello.
Hello.
David.
Hello, Reese.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to meet up with you again.
And you as well. Have you guys met before?
No,
Just
first
today.
day today.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Nice pleasure.
We've had some good conversations, haven't we?
Yeah, we've had.
Backstage,
Yes, been getting all the gossip on the world out there and
Yeah.
trying to put the world to rights.
Oh, well, that's always a good thing,
No,
isn't it?
I met Reese just recently on a film set.
Okay.
Yeah, he was what I refer to as the evil one. And,
Oh.
he's manipulating me in this.
Always
film.
a psychopath.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I'm playing a nice character one day.
One day.
One day. But it's lovely to have you on our show,
Thank you very
David.
much for having me.
No
Thank you.
problem at all. So we're going to have a little talk about your life. Our audience like to know, and I suppose take a peek behind the curtain really and see what makes you tick and what you're all about, because you've had quite an interesting life, haven't you?
Some would say yes, some would say no. Yeah. I'm 62, currently married with two grown-up boys, 30 and 33, and they're running their own little businesses now. So,
Are they?
But yeah, I was in the ambulance service for 5 years, just starting the paramedic training course, and then career change, moved over to working for the police.
Wow.
And worked in that job for 25 years.
Wow.
Really?
So, yeah, retired in 2012.
I bet you saw some stuff in the police,
In fact,
though,
no,
didn't
not
you?
2012, 2015. Time flies so quickly.
Mm.
Yeah, 2015.
Wow.
Is it really?
Yes.
Goodness
I can't
me.
believe it's so quick. It still feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
So a quarter of a century on the beat.
Thank you. I feel old enough as it is.
So what was
All the
that
grey
like?
hairs.
Did you enjoy your job? Because we've had people from all walks of life
Mhm.
on our couch. We've had firemen, authors, and all kinds of stuff. And we had an amazing guy who was a fireman, didn't
Yes.
we? And he
Yeah,
said that
yeah.
it was just his entire world. He loved it. So
Yeah.
what was your experience? 25 years in the police.
I joined, like most people joining the police, want to change the world, put things to right, and lock up the bad guys.
Okay.
The reality is the world's not that straightforward, and some of the bad guys keep coming out and coming out. And you see the same old faces, and some of them, ironically, start off as young kids.
Yeah.
And if they take the wrong path,
That's it.
they grow and they grow, and they just keep coming back, and they're getting older and coming back. You know,
Right,
and
okay.
they just don't get off the life of crime.
Mm.
It's a shame, really, but they choose the wrong path rather than the right one.
Mhm.
And but they seem happy with it. You know, they think they can make the money and live the lifestyle of crime. Some do, but the majority they go out, they steal, they end up in jail, and it's a vicious circle for them.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was an interesting job. I stayed in uniform for a number of years, and then when I was injured to the point where I couldn't go out on the streets, I stayed more office bound
Okay.
and dealing with crime from that side of it,
Mm.
and CCTV work and stuff like that. Yeah.
So what years were you in? So out on the beat, as it was, what era are we talking? Is it 80s or 90s?
On the beat, 1990 up to about 2008.
Mm.
But a lot of changes came in. Paperwork increased. The legal system wanted more requirements from the police. So when I started, the crime was just on 3 sheets of paper, carbonated paper.
Okay.
By the end, it was, files and
Seriously.
tremendous amounts of work. And you spent a lot of time writing in
Mm.
order to get to court and basically get the case in front of a magistrate.
And then 9 times out of 10 they're just thrown out anyway.
Yes, a lot of the
You
time.
see that all
Or
the
you
time.
don't get the
Yeah.
result that you don't get the result.
Yeah.
But
So
you
so
think
when you were there and on the beat and doing the office work, was it still as it is today that you have to run everything by the CBS? CPS, Crime Prosecution.
CPS, yeah.
CPS.
Yeah.
So you do all the work and everything, and then you still have to refer it to them. Was that what it was like for you?
Yeah, you had to put a case together, present it to the Crown Prosecution Service, and they would decide whether or not it was in the public interest
Okay.
to decide to prosecute and take it to court.
Okay.
I'm sure that a lot of changes came around about COVID, but I wasn't there at the time, so I can't answer that. But as far as I'm aware, it's still running that way. That the Crown prosecution take the final say, I think, when whether or not something goes to court or not.
Really?
But then you rely on the magistrates to
Yeah.
give a decent sentence.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an incident where, when I was in uniform, I was assaulted. I saw the CCTV of it. There was loads of people there with the phones out, videoing it. I'm rolling around on the floor with two sort of potential suspects, and they were trying to get hold of my nightstick as we had at the time.
Okay.
But nobody came to help. I was injured. I was off work a couple of weeks due to injury. It went to magistrates. The magistrates did a deal through the solicitors, and the solicitors came to. And when we went into the magistrates' court, basically, these two guys got offered like a £10 fine each and weren't allowed to walk. And of course, as they walked out of court, they're laughing away, you're laughing in the face of justice. And it's those days that it made you think, why do we bother?
Yeah.
You know? But you need to bother, otherwise the country would be a mess.
Anarchy, isn't it? Just going to a mess.
But unfortunately, crime now it's getting out of control, especially with the young teenagers.
I bet you're glad you're not a police officer now.
Well, especially in London. I mean, so many kids killing each other now.
But why? I mean, I just don't understand why.
Yeah.
You know, I look at it, you know, we live on the most beautiful planet
Yeah.
with all this greenery and all these stunning animals and places to see and temples to visit and cuisines to taste and people to meet. And people just want to hurt each other.
Yeah.
And there's so much nastiness and so much toxic people out there. I just don't understand what makes people. It baffles me.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. I mean, when I was early in the job, you didn't get as many kids carrying knives around and attacking people the way they do now. I mean, you used to hear about the gangs of Scotland where they used to have knife crime and fight. But in this country now, you know, so many teenagers, it's the way.
It's just normal life,
Scary.
isn't it?
I mean, I've always said that a deterrent should be that if you possess a knife and you're caught with a knife, you get 5 years. If you show the knife to somebody threatening or use it, it's 10 years. If you injure somebody, 15.
Yeah.
Kill somebody, it's at least 20 or life with no chance of parole.
Yes.
And until that, these kids are just going to go, yeah, it's all right, carry that.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
See,
somebody.
it's, you know, growing up, for me, I mean, I was terrified. You know, it was all about respect, but terrified of the police and everything like that. There's nothing like that anymore.
No.
And I was even more scared about getting home to the parents.
Yeah.
You know, to my parents,
Yeah.
because you know, nothing wrong with a backhander off a police officer who then takes you home, presents you in front of your parents, and then you get another backhander.
Yeah.
So that's
And now,
the
if that
issue,
happened,
though, the
yeah,
The
discipline's
parents
not
would
there.
turn on the police and say, don't you hit my child like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the child will turn on the parents and
And
say,
so
I'm
I'm going to
pressing
call
charges
social
against you.
services,
Yeah.
so the parents
Yeah.
have lost
Yeah.
control, and that's probably one of the answers, to be honest.
Yeah.
One of the
Just to take
things
it from the
that
parents.
still sticks in my mind, I mean, there was a film years ago where they have the electric chair, a black and white film, and the poor lad, and I was only a youngster at the time, and I thought, what a horrible way to die on the electric chair.
Yeah.
And it's then the English version, the judge, when you had the scene in reality, but mainly in films, the judge puts on his little black cap
Yes.
and starts off saying, you'll be taken from in this place. That deterrent now would go down a storm with kids. It would absolutely.
You'd never get away with it now.
No.
And I think that is what, you know, that's what's missing realistically. That respect and that, you know, that fear, if you like. You know, I mean, kids know they can go out and do whatever they want now, and there's no deterrent.
No.
You know, there's no punishment anymore.
But if they knew that a judge could potentially don that black cap and say, you're going to be executed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
How many would go, oh, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. I'm only 15,
Yeah.
14, 15, whatever. And it's not worth it.
So in all the years that obviously you were in the police force, is there anything that really steps out in your mind of like, wow, I was involved with that? What, you know, is there any one thing that really is front and foremost in your career?
The Manchester bomb.
Oh wow.
The IRA one, the big one, where
Okay.
it destroyed basically the city centre.
Yeah.
At the time, I was a police officer attached to what they call the Metrolink unit, which is the trams.
Okay.
Okay, they had a dedicated unit. And on the morning, I can't remember if it's Father's Day. It's going back a few years now, but on the day, I walked along that street where the truck was eventually parked. I don't remember seeing the truck, but in a way I'm glad I didn't, because knowing the IRA, I think if an officer or a traffic warden had challenged them, especially dressed the way they were, getting out of that truck on such a hot day, they would have been sort of, just come and look in the back of our truck or down the side road, and they would have taken them out. I'm sure they would. But it's having known that you've walked that street, and then not long after, the radio messages come out, and we had to clear basically the Arndale area right all the way up to, do you know where Debenhams was at the top? And there weren't many officers there at the time. They had to be called in, and when the bomb finally went off, because they were doing a countdown to trigger and interrupt the device, and it only got so far down the countdown, and it went off. Yeah. And it was the loudest bang. I was knocked off my feet up near Debenhams onto the tracks, because you can walk pedestrianised on the tracks. Okay. I was knocked off my feet, and you felt the wind. And when you finally dusted yourself and got up off the floor, and the watch strap was broken, I was still in one piece, because obviously, that's the first thing you check. But the area had gone from normal shop frontage and everything to somewhere like in the Middle East, when they've had the Blitz and all the cities are destroyed, all the windows were out, mannequins were out, and well, God willing, nobody was killed. And then after that, the funny side of it was people would come up and go, "Can I go and get my car?" Well, where it sits down? No, you can't go down there. There is no car. There's no garage. It's all been blown up. All gone bang bang. Bye bye. Yeah. And you had to sort of hew yourself for that to get over the shock. Yeah. But for months after, any loud noises, bangs, it just brought back some memories and made you jump. But how nobody died is a miracle.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Do you have any funny stories then? Because a lot of
what from the police side?
Yeah.
We're going to touch on that in 1 minute if we've got funny stories. Go and put the kettle on. Put your feet up. We'll be back with you in 2 minutes here on Creatives on the Couch. Hello there and welcome back to Creatives on the Couch. We are still here with the gorgeous David, and we've been delving deep into his career as a serving police officer right up until your retirement. So 25 years and then it was time for a complete change. Talk about yin and yang.
Yeah. First few years, I hadn't wanted to do another job. I was quite happy being retired, enjoying life.
Being with the
no
family.
Getting up early, no being on shifts, no doing late nights for 7 nights, or however the shift pattern fell. Excuse me. And the thought of acting came to the fore.
And you'd never sort of thought about that while you were in the police force or anything?
No. I'd heard people who were in the police had done it as a support actor or background artist, but it wasn't until a while that I started thinking about it. And you watch the soaps on TV, and thinking, well, it's a little bit of extra money if you need it. So I applied to a couple of places, signed up to a couple of TV agents, and ended up doing some TV programmes and getting onto those.
Wow.
And I think the first job that I did, the first one I did, was I was asked to go and do a pub background artist, excuse me, in a comedy, BBC comedy called Scarborough.
Okay. Oh yeah. What's his face?
Mark.
What's his name?
I
can't remember what his name is. Darren Litton.
Darren Litton.
Darren Litton.
He wrote it. Yeah, from Benidorm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And Jake Canuso.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So we shipped up to, I think it was Bolton, Oldham Way, and they used the pub on an estate there for the interior shots. But on the programme, the external shots were actually filmed in Scarborough, as were some of the other scenes that were in the programme. So we got asked to do this support acting work in the pub for a couple of days, and that was for the first series. Excellent comedy.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed doing that. And the unfortunate thing was, when the series finished on TV, Darren, who was playing the landlord, was supposed to have a heart attack. And then that was the end of the first series. I thought, oh great, it'll be back.
No.
And they cut it short.
They did.
As happens
wow.
in this industry, you know.
I think everyone had kind of, when they saw that he was writing it and that Jake was involved in it, and you know, a tremendous cast. I mean, a wealth of talent on that show. And I think they thought it was going to be Benidorm, which is in Scarborough, and it wasn't. He'd written it completely different. And even I was quite surprised that it didn't get a second series.
No, because it was, in its own right, it was funny. I mean, I don't particularly watch Benidorm.
Jason Manford as well.
Jason Manford. And the other actress who used to be in Coronation Street.
She played Eva in Coronation Street.
She did. I can't think of her name at the moment. But yeah, it was funny. It was good, and it should have taken off. Whether or not somebody will pick it up at a later date, I don't know. I don't know what Darren's going to do with it.
So you did enjoy being in the comedy then, and then obviously you moved on to different projects.
Yeah, there's been programmes like Coronation Street. That was filmed in Warrington in a truck stop where one of the characters was shot. And he was to do with this people trafficking story. Have been in Hollyoaks as a prisoner, Tin Star, in a bingo hall.
In what, sorry, Tin Star?
Tin Star, yes. That was the American-Canadian production that was filmed. I think three series were in America, and then they came over to the UK to finish the story off.
Oh, very nice.
And so I was in that.
And then, obviously, we need to talk about your latest part, don't we? You
just recently been in Chris Jackson horror film called The Man and Angle, which is quite a scary film, I think, when it comes out.
Yeah.
I was playing the part of Fred, the barman. But Fred, the barman, has an underlying psychotic behaviour where he is a serial killer.
Oh.
But the serial killing is driven by a character called Jameson, who I refer to as the evil one. I think you know Jameson.
I know Jameson.
You know Jameson.
Who plays Jameson?
That could. Oh, his name's. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Could be you.
That'd be me.
Is it you?
It's me. Yes.
Jameson manipulates me quite a lot in the film, and
I certainly do.
Decides who I'm going to kill or not kill.
Yes, it was a nice thing to be involved. It is so well written, and the moment that I sort of read through the script, I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful." And you know what I'm like for playing evil characters. Yeah. All of you know exactly that I'm a complete nutcase regarding playing baddies. So I saw what our interaction was and how I was going to put the curse on you and treat you like my pet. Yes. I had to get very close to him and stroke his head and.
That was very enjoyable.
Yeah,
it was.
It was a long day, but it's a nice project, and Man and Angle will be coming out very, very soon. So you will need to watch out for it to see him in all of his glory and see me being a nutcase. Man, you see that every time you watch this episode, don't you? Really?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it though, being in Man and Angle?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I went into withdrawal symptoms after it stopped filming. I wanted to do more.
Yeah, that's nice.
Chris, who is the writer of the book and the director and everything, great person to work for.
Yeah.
And yourself, obviously. And the rest of the cast and crew were brilliant, right through from the film guy to the makeup lady and what have you.
It was such a nice team that Chris pulled together, and it's when obviously there's always egos coming into play with different people, but that makes for an interesting thing backstage, doesn't it? Really, we just sat back, folded our arms, and let them get on with it. But it's everything's a learning curve, and I think you take these opportunities, and even how long I've been doing it, you meet different people, you absorb it like a sponge. You meet different people every single day. Some of them turn out to be complete and utter idiots. And I've worked on projects recently where people who I thought I could trust have turned into absolute idiots.
Yeah. And if you get like a director or crew that don't want to listen, aren't open to suggestions.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an instance in this film where the scene was shot, but it happened so fast, and you could see from the director's face, it was like he wasn't happy, and it was like something missing. But he didn't just shut down and say, "I'm doing it this my way." It was open to suggestions.
But isn't that magical?
Well, that's brilliant. Yeah,
That's
and it makes the film.
Yes.
It helps make the film.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because you know these projects, you know, are a group collaboration, and when you find a director like Chris Jackson who will take on board what you're saying and actually change, you know, the format and just change things around for the good of the project, you know, all credit, because some, like I said again, you work with people, they're just idiots.
Yeah.
But it has been a fun project. It's going to be great when it's edited together.
And I mean, at least you're going away, and instead of going, seeing the film 6 months down the line and saying, that scene was over in 3 seconds, when in reality, the new version was maybe a minute, 2 minutes, and there's more of a story, you get more of a feel of the characters and what's happening, rather than just wham bang, thank you, ma'am, and it's done.
Absolutely.
You know, and you need that because you can step back and say, well, I'm not an actor now, I'm looking at this from somebody who's going to see the film and think, it's right, it's not right.
And I think that's why, you know, we work together like this, don't we? You know, we get the best out of different guests that we have. And I think we're like that with Chris as well. You know, saying, you know, we'll try it this way, try it that way. And at the end of the day, we're all singing from the same song sheet to make something that's really, really good. And I think we are creating things that are really good. So what is next for you? Where would you like this journey to go?
Well, obviously, I'm hoping that Chris's books still get turned into films, and that there may be a place for
Fred to return.
For the return of Fred.
The return of Fred.
And I've just been offered a part in a psychological sort of ghostly horror thing called Crowtone.
Oh,
okay.
And that is from the writer, the director, Diana Brooks.
All right.
She brings quite a few films out. COVID messed quite a few film projects up, and they were delayed and what have you. So Crowtone was floating around in the past. It's now come back, and I did an audition tape the other day, and she contacted me back and said, "Yeah, you can play this part of Chris, who helps a bird watcher who has been traumatically upset or disturbed in the woods by, I presume, the Crowtone. But more will come out when I've seen the script, but we can't say too much.
No, of course
that'll ruin
not.
the fun bit. But
so hopefully, if you're going into that, when's that realistically going to start for you? Are we talking?
Well, she's already mentioned 2 dates for filming in the end of January. So
okay, good.
I don't know how quick she's going to film it and how many are in the cast.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, so there's that, and I have an agent who I don't know. Can I say the name?
Of course you can.
I'm with an agent called Danielle's Agency, and she is currently looking after me, and she's put me in for a couple of auditions. Unfortunately, I've not heard back from them like you do, because sometimes film directors can take 2 or 3 months to decide.
Absolutely.
So you just got to do the audition, wait, and let it go. If it goes, it goes. If you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
But I am also on IMDb Pro, and you can find me under the name of David J Ridley.
If you got that, that's David J Ridley. There we are.
That's the one. And also on Facebook, I'm either under David J Ridley or my proper name of David Little. So I'll be on there.
Okay.
But most of it, if you want a friend, you know, link up to be friends and see what's going on in the film side of life. Please drop me a
There's always something exciting going on, isn't there?
Well, hopefully,
well, it's been just a pleasure having you on.
Pleasure being here.
Thank you so much for coming. Remarkable life story.
Thank you very much.
So we hope you've enjoyed that episode, and all the details are on screen should you wish to track David down and ask him a few more questions from my gorgeous screen wifey Monique and myself. We'll see you next time for more Creatives on the Couch. Take care for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.